Hello. Today I'm going to do a comparison between three guitars. This one here, which is I bought recently. It's a 1976 Takeharu. Pretty aged, nicely aged top. It's all darkened with the sun. It's had a pretty interesting history. It was bought by a guy. It came originally built in Japan, and bought by a guy on the Ivory Coast. It then travelled to Colombia and Brazil, and then London, and finally here with me. Now these guitars were well made in the 1970s. Cheap guitars. You can see there's open back tuners. It was a pretty budget guitar. It was called a folk guitar, marketed probably for campfire singing and stuff like that. Off the back of the 1960s folk guys. There's no real binding on it as such. It's just fairly plain. I don't know if you can see it in this light. It's not really much binding. Still a little bit of binding around the edges and stuff. I'm not sure what the materials are. It's got an adjustable bridge. It's got a 0 fret, so instead of the strings going from the nut, it goes from this fret. It's 25.5-inch scale, and it sounds pretty decent. Now I got this one and I thought, well, it's a decent guitar. It plays actually really nice. It's nice slow action, and tone is not bad. The tone's okay. It has a built-in pickup somebody's put in. I haven't tried it. I'm really interested in that sort of thing. It's like an electric guitar pickup, so you're not really going to get a decent acoustic sound out of it like they would with a bridge device or a microphone. Like, it's quite a nice guitar. These are phosphor bronze strings that have just been put on a while back. Okay, so it's fairly light, not too bad. Plays nice. It's in pretty good condition. And it's okay. Now, I've got two other guitars here to compare it to. Now, I think the Japanese sort of made direct copies of Martins and Gibsons in the 70s. So yeah, that's that one. That's a Takeharu. Next one I have is a Yamaki. And you can hear the difference. The Takeharu was okay, it was nice, it was decent. But this one seems to be livelier. It's a 25-inch scale, slightly shorter. It still has the 0 nut, 0 fret even. It's got a metal nut, but that doesn't really do anything, it's just a string guide. It's got the adjustable bridge, same as the other one. It's also got a bit more by way of binding and appointments and stuff. It's got binding on the back. I'm not sure what the woods are. I'm guessing mahogany. It's not just as yellowed, as aged as the Takeharu. It's maybe lived a better life. Now again, this is from the 70s. I'm not sure of the exact date, but it feels a lot lighter. There's a lot less weight on it. Everywhere. So that's the Takeharu. No, that's a Takeharu. This is a Yamaki. Now Yamaki guitars were made up until about 1980. At that point they changed to a brand called Dion, which are fairly well sought after. They're great guitars. If you can ever get your hands on Dion, do. Again, this is a sort of a folk guitar. It's got the classic tin box tuners, the El Cheapos. It even says folk guitar on the inside. So again, it's aimed at the lower end of the market, the sort of campfire learner to intermediate player. But it's a decent guitar. Is it in tune? Yeah, it is. It's me. It's out of tune. Anyway, guess I should have learned to play before I did this. Anyway, yeah, it's a decent guitar. The sound is so much more rich and more open and more. There's a lot more bottom end going on. There's a richer bass and a more zing out of the top end. If you'd like, I mean, the Yamaki is kind of like it's like on a graphic EQ thing. The Yamaki would be sort of low at the bass end and more sort of mid-rangey top end. This is more sort of bassy, less mid-range and more top. Again, probably a direct copy of a Martin D18. I don't know. Still a nice guitar. I would gig with this. I mean, it's got a good sound. Now the other guitar I have here, as I probably mentioned, is the one I've had the longest, which is my own Lowden. Now they're all my own now, of course I bought them. But this thing I've had since 1988. It's an S10C. Probably now classed as an OM model. Now the Lowden is a 25.5-inch scale. It doesn't have the 0 fret, it has a nut, and it has a split bridge for a better intonation. Doesn't have the bridge pins, it has the strings going directly into the bridge. This is Lowden's design. It's a slightly bigger body, it's more of a jumbo size. Probably the biggest body you can get actually. Now tonally, the Lowden is more of a, hard to describe, it's got more of a mid-range, more woody tone. Compared to the other two, compared especially to the Yamaki. Now, of course, price-wise, I bought the Takeharu for less than 100 quid. The Yamaki was probably about 200 by the time I paid for customs, getting it in from Japan. It came from a junk shop in Japan, a pawn shop or something. They classified it as junk. To me, there's nothing wrong with it, but I guess it's just very second hand. Whereas Lowden's, you're looking at a couple of grand up at least. But they are well made, handmade, you know, professional instruments. But to be honest, the Lowden, as lovely as it is, there doesn't seem to be 2 grand's worth of difference between it and the Yamaki, which is nice to know that you can buy a really good quality second-hand Japanese instrument for not much money. I still get a decent tone, really playable. Like, I mean, the action is ultra low on it, as it is on the Takeharu. So I thought I'd make this video to show you the difference in tone between the 3 guitars. The Takeharu, nice, it's great. If you bring it out, play with it. It's a good campfire guitar. It's a good take anywhere, throw it in the boot of the car, take it to wherever, you know. Still a decent tone, decent playability, really good playability actually. The Yamaki, fantastic tone, great tone. It's not Martin tone, I don't think. but it's still good. It's still great. It's a light guitar. It's easy played. It's just comfortable and nice. Lowden, you can't compare. It's not a fair comparison. If I had a Martin D18 here, it probably would have been a better comparison, but I don't have one. So the Lowden's the only thing I have to compare it with. Now, tonally, there is it's interesting, the comparisons. So I thought I'd share that. But there you go. That's these guitars. Two from the 1970s, one from the 1980s, and if you can get your hands on one of these things, if you want a decent guitar at decent money, don't go out buying made in Korea. Yamaki's, old Yamaki's are definitely where it is, and good tone, good playability, and it's got a bit of a mojo about it, bit of vintage vibe, and it's cool. Tuners work fine, doesn't matter if they're $10 cheap tuners, they're still good. Do the job, and guitars. Thanks for listening.